Luzon, Visayas, and good evening, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. This is koolNews at 6. I'm Pyro, and we are live on Cool FM and News Radio 93.1, where we share some of the latest news headlines that care for you. Let's begin with our headlines. Preparations are ongoing in the Senate for the impending impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte, including the fitting of robes for senator judges. This was confirmed by Senate Secretary Attorney Renato Pandok in a text message to reporters on Friday, saying that they began coordinating with senators 2 weeks ago about the matter. We have started coordinating with the senators for the fitting of the robes about 2 weeks ago. We'll ask for an update from the handling office if they were able to fix some already, said Pandok. Same color and design. We will be using the same color and design from what we used during the Corona trial, he added, pertaining to the design and color of the prop. In a separate Embash interview also on Friday, Senator Alan Peter Catiano said he is scheduled to fit his robe on March 14. Apart from the fitting of the robe, he confirmed that there are active actions, may it be individual or by group, to prepare for the trial. Catiano said, individual and by group. I know for a fact that you already reported the preparations of the Senate President. But like my staff, we bought the new law books, updating the rules of evidence, and then there are seminars going. Senate President Francis Escudero previously made a categorical stand that the impeachment trial against Duterte will commence after President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.'s fourth State of the Nation address in July. So here are the proposed timeline of the impeachment proceedings against Vice President Sara Duterte as previously announced by Castro, with the following. June 2, resumption of session and presentation of articles of impeachment. June 3, convening of impeachment court and outtaking of incumbent senator judges. June 4, issuance of summons. June 14 to 24, reception of pleadings. June 24 to July 25, retrial. July 28, integral session of the Senate of the 20th Congress. July 29, outtaking of newly elected senator judges before sitting as an impeachment court. And July 30, start of trial. The Energy Regulatory Commission has directed Manila Electric Co., the country's largest private electric utility, to immediately refund some 20 billion pesos to its consumers. This is equivalent to an average refund of 0.1189 pesos per kilowatt hour across customers' classes, according to a statement released by the ERC on Friday. The refund, which should be implemented within 3 years, represents the difference between the actual average prices charged by Meralco and the highest allowable cost that consumers should have paid from July 2022 to December 2024. Meralco's franchise area covers Metro Manila, Bulacan, Cavite, Rizal, and select areas in Pampanga, Laguna, Batangas, and Quezon. When former President Rodrigo Duterte was arrested on the basis of a warrant from the International Criminal Court on Tuesday, March 11, a mother of two EGK victims said the fight for justice is far from over. Elore Pasco, mother of Crisanto and Juan Carlos Lozano, who were killed by the police in Quezon City in 2017, said Duterte is not the only one responsible for the thousands of killings in Duterte's murderous crackdown on drugs. She told Inquirer.net on Friday, March 14, the same day the former chief executive is expected to make his first appearance before the ICC, Duterte should not be the only one arrested. For Pasco, Senator Ronald Bata de la Rosa, who was Duterte's first Philippine National Police chief, and even Oscar Albayate, who succeeded him, are also responsible for the thousands of killings in the war on drugs which the government's wage started in 2016. She said of De La Rosa and Albayalde, who were PNP chiefs from 2016 to 2018 and 2018 to 2019 respectively, they are the primary personalities in the drug war. Last year, former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV shared a July 3 ICC document which tagged De La Rosa, Albayalde, and three other police officials as suspects for their considerate involvement in the widespread and systematic killings in the war on drugs. It was De La Rosa who signed on January 1, 2016 Comment Memorandum Circular Number 16-216, the document that operationalized Oblan Tokhan and ordered the police to neutralize and negate drug suspects. Obayete recalibrated the war on drugs when he became PNP chief after De La Rosa's mandatory retirement. He, who has stressed that he cannot guarantee that his drug war will be less bloody, led the PNP until he retired in 2019. They should answer for their role in the drug war, Pasco pointed out. We are the ones who implemented it. As of Wednesday, March 12, Malacanan said it has not yet received official communication regarding an international criminal police organization red notice alert for De La Rosa and Albayalde. However, De La Rosa has already said he will seek protection from Senate President Francis Escudero for him not to be handed over to the ICC in case a warrant of arrest will be issued against him. Obayalde, who described the arrest of Duterte for alleged murder as a crime against humanity as a sad day, told CLTV 36 News that he is hoping the government will provide him with legal protection. As Pasco pointed out, she is hoping that De La Rosa and Obayalde will soon get arrested too. I hope they will be investigated and that a warrant of arrest will be issued as well, because that will take a heavy load from us, relatives of the victims. Veronica Kitty Duterte, daughter of arrested former President Rodrigo Duterte, urged Filipinos to light a candle and be united in prayer as her father is scheduled to make his first appearances before the International Criminal Court in The Hague, Netherlands on Friday. The former president was arrested in Manila on Tuesday through the virtue of an ICC arrest warrant for alleged crimes against humanity during his administration's war on drugs. In an Instagram story, the younger Duterte said, "Tonight at 9 p.m., my father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, is going to stand before the pretrial chamber of the ICC. I am calling on to you, not as his supporters, but as Filipinos, to stand for what is right and light a candle, whether you are in the Philippines or abroad," she also said. "Let us be one in prayer and one in upholding her rights to his distant vulnerability," she concluded. It seems like you are not serious about this investigation. These were the words used by Senator Alan Peter Catiano when he grilled on Friday Public Works and Highways officials over their supposedly disappointing actions to address the recent collapse of the Kapagan, Kapagan to Santa Maria Bridge in Isabela. At the Senate sub-panel on Blue Ribbon's public hearing, Catiano expressed his dismay. Catiano pointed out, "Pansensya na, you're the only one here, but I should tell this to the Secretary. It appears to me that you're not serious about this investigation. Right now, there's no point person in the investigation. Right now, no one was preventively suspended." At the center of Catiano's dismay was DPWH Undersecretary Eugenio Pipo Jr. Catiano lashed out his frustration after he was informed by people that they have yet to preventively suspend DPWH officials. "It's been 2 weeks and there's still no preventive suspension. If there's a misdeed there in the design or testing, they could have been replaced by now. Because that's the purpose of preventive suspension. Whoever is there, it's not to say you're guilty," said Catiano. "What kind of investigation are you doing? That's why I want your secretary here. It looks like to me that you're not serious, similar to what Senator Revilla said, heads have to roll. How would they roll if you allowed them to talk to people and do everything? If it was the guilty person, what would I do? I'll cover it up, right?" In a separate Embash interview shortly after the hearing, Catiano told the media that he is very disappointed on how the DPWH is taking the matter. He said, "It doesn't feel wholehearted. I'll make it an excuse that the secretary is not here. But it's been 2 weeks and yet there's still no point percent on who is investigating. There's still no committee and I don't think it's good practice. I told the secretary during the budget hearing that it's not good practice for them to issue a memo for the president while they have yet to polish and make a solid conclusion. He then proceeded to point out that the only thing that the DPWH did was to gather all documents, but officials still can't answer why prices have doubled up from the first contract as well as why the retrofitting was charged to the government. I am hoping that the DPWH will shape up and now we know why there's a need for a blue ribbon committee, right? If it weren't for this hearing, the DPWH will not make this a priority. For the DPWH's part, people maintain that they are conducting an active investigation. In a separate Embash interview also on Friday, he said a panel will be conducted to specifically investigate the cause of the failure of the bridge. On February 27, the Kapampangan to Santa Maria Bridge collapsed when a dump truck carrying quarried stones exceeding the 45-ton weight limit attempted to cross. At least 6 people were injured and 4 vehicles were damaged in the incident. The bridge had been completed just weeks earlier on February 1st, 2025 at the cost of 1.22 billion pesos. It is now 6:15 p.m. as we will return with more news headlines right here on koolNews at 6. Stay along with us. We will be right back. koolNews at 6. Let's continue with our headlines. Whether or not the uni team is intact, this will not change the government's decision to cooperate with the International Criminal Police Organization or Interpol in the arrest of President Rodrigo Duterte. Palace Press Officer Clara Castro said. At a palace briefing on Friday, Castro was asked if President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will still cooperate with Interpol, which implemented the warrant issued by the International Criminal Court, if he and Duterte's daughter, Vice President Sara Duterte, did not have a fallout. To recall, Marcos and his vice president ran under the Unity banner in the 2022 national elections, but their political alliance has since been severed with her resignation from her post as Education Secretary last year. Castro replied, "Of course, we will just abide by the law. Whatever the agreement with Interpol is, no matter who it involves, whether the Unity team still exists or not, it will be the same. We cannot grant special treatment just because of friendship," Castro added. Police assisted Interpol in in arrested in arresting Duterte upon his arrival from Hong Kong last Tuesday, and he was flown several hours after to the Hague, Netherlands, via a government chartered plane. The elder Duterte and Marcos have a long-standing rift that began before the latter became president in 2022. The former president had repeatedly accused Marcos of using illegal drugs, which Marcos has also repeatedly denied. In his speech during a central sortie last February 13, Duterte once again accused Marcos of using illegal drugs, saying that by the age of 80, Marcos is probably no longer moving. There is a president who is truly high, not exactly insane, but drug addiction has long-term effects. Marcos would go mad, maybe with constant use of heroin. He might reach 80, but by then he wouldn't be able to move anymore, Duterte said. Vice President Duterte meanwhile had tried to have Marcos, First Lady Liza Ariana Marcos, and House Speaker Martin Romualdez assassinated if any harm befell her. Duterte said in Filipino in an online press conference last year, "I already talked to someone. I told the person if they kill me, kill PBM, Lisa Arianta, and Martin Romualdez. No joke, no joke. I have left instructions." The National Bureau of Investigation said Thursday it is plotting a plan of action on online purveyors of fake news and disinformation, including those operating outside the Philippines. Speaking at the Meet the Manila Press News Forum on Thursday, NBI Director Jimmy Santiago said a meeting by the NBS Cybercrime and Technical Intelligence Unit would outline the government's next move after fake news bloggers and online trolls. Santiago said, "We will not let this pass. We will investigate this seriously." He said they have already identified several trolls and their supposed links to prominent personalities. Among them is a blogger who goes by the name Maharlika, supposedly behind some fake and malicious news. In its latest tirade, the blogger claimed the First Lady was detained in the United States where she had attended a function for filmmakers. Santiago said, "Maharlika, better prepare. We will go after her. She should not be self-assured because she might think she's safe because she's in America. The people are already furious, not just the NBI." He urged bloggers not to make online commentaries as a kind of joke. "It's not right. We have freedom of speech and expression, but that is not absolute," Santiago said. Meanwhile, preparations are ongoing in the Senate for the impending impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte, including the fitting of ropes for several judges. This was confirmed by Senate Secretary Attorney Reynaldo Bontoc in a text message to reporters on Friday, saying that they began coordinating with senators 2 weeks ago about the matter. "We have started coordinating with the senators for the fitting of the ropes." I think we have already covered this one here. Uh, okay. Malacanan on Friday said that despite ex-President Rodrigo Duterte's turnover to the National Criminal Court, the government would make sure that he will get a fair trial for his charges on crimes against humanity allegedly committed during his administration's drug war. At a briefing on Friday, Palace Press Officer Carla Castro also said the Philippine government is no longer obliged to assist Duterte. "The government no longer has any hand or responsibility over former President Duterte," she said in Filipino. but based on Republic Act 9851 as a Filipino, not just because he is a former President Rodrigo Duterte also has the right to a fair trial. The government must ensure that due process is upheld, especially since Duterte is a Filipino citizen, she added. In the same briefing, Castro also said that there was no special treatment under the law in response to Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa's claims that the Marcos administration broke its promise of not cooperating with the ICC. De la Rosa, who was Duterte's first national police chief, was named co-accused in the complaint at the ICC. She said, "We cannot have special treatment. Betrayal against a person, if they're being accused, cannot be considered an issue." Former Interior and Local Government Secretary Benhar Abalos on Friday denounced in the strongest possible terms the tragic death of Michaela Mikova, a 23-year-old Slovak national whose body was discovered at an El Bonde Chapel in Boracay, a prime tourist destination in the Philippines. Abalos said in an interview in Tacloban, Yete, where the Alianza Senator campaign is scheduled to hold a rally in the afternoon. "I have learned about this incident in Boracay, and I condemn it in the strongest possible terms. I want to assure the public, especially the international community, that this is a very isolated case," Abalos said in an interview. Once again, Abalos said in an interview in Tacloban's Yete. Abalos emphasized that Boracay remains a safe destination for travelers. Abalos expressed, "I just spoke with PNP's regional director Jack Wanky, and according to police records, this is the first time such an incident has happened to a tourist on the island." Abalos, who once supervised the PNP as Secretary of the Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG, said that authorities in the Western Visayas region have launched a thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding Mikova's death. He said, all that I can tell you is that the police are on top of this. Having been DILG secretary before, I understand that while there are the details I may want to disclose, I cannot, as it may affect the investigation. But I assure everyone from day one, this has been treated as a priority case. Our police force is working tirelessly, and I am confident that the investigation is moving in the right direction. Abalos reiterated that crimes of this nature remain exceptionally rare in Boracay. "As far as police records are concerned, this is an isolated case," he stated. "It's the first time something like this has happened to a tourist. I want to make that clear because tourism is one of the strengths of our country. We do not want this unfortunate incident to overshadow the reality of the to overshadow the reality that the Philippines, and Boracay in particular, remains a welcoming and hospitable place for visitors." Abalos also extended his condolences to Mikova's family. "We mourn with the family," he said. "The authorities will do everything we can to bring the perpetrators to justice." "The Philippines is a beautiful country, and Filipinos are known for their warmth and kindness," he said. "It is unfortunate that this happened, but I trust that our law enforcement agencies will bring swift resolution to this case." One moment. Minutes after former leader Rodrigo Duterte was bundled onto a charge bound for the HALQ to face a charge of crimes against humanity, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said of the arrest, "Politics doesn't enter into it." Complying with the International Criminal Court warrant tied to his predecessor's deadly drug war was simply a matter of the Philippines meeting its international obligations, he told reporters. But Tuesday's shocking arrest, which comes barely a month after the impeachment of Duterte's daughter Sarah, the country's vice president, has left the family's national political fortunes in deep peril, analysts told Agents Press. Michael Henry Michael Henry Yusinko, senior fellow at the Ateneo Policy Center, said, pointing to polling for May's midterm elections, "Let me put it this way. The situation wasn't promising in the first place, even before all of these things happened. Only 3 candidates from Duterte's PDP Laban Party are on track to grab one of the 12 nationally elected Senate seats, while Marcos' ruling New Philippines Alliance has 8 candidates firmly among the leaders. Those elected will hold the deciding votes in the trial of the vice president, impeached last month on charges of grave corruption and an alleged plot to assassinate her former running mate Marcos. Given Marcos' full control of the critical levers of government, it's certainly reasonable to speculate that this could be the end of the Duterte dynasty, said Yusinko, while cautioning it was too early to make a definitive judgment. Cracks in the Marcos Duterte alliance were already showing within weeks of the landslide 2022 election victory, with the vice president angered when she was denied the conflict defense portfolio. But the similar feud erupted in the months leading to her impeachment, which was overseen by House Speaker Martin Romualdez, a Marcos cousin. Public sniping between the two dynasties saw the elder Duterte label Marcos the one man who could have been shielded him from the ICC drug addict. The president, in turn, has spent much of his recent time on the campaign trail railing against Duterte's bloody drug crackdown. At the end of the day, the arrest would not have happened there had not been a rift between the two of them, said Juan, Gian Franco, assistant chair of the University of the Philippines Political Science Department. The former president, due in court on Friday later, was arrested 3 days earlier at Manila's International Airport after returning home from a trip from Hong Kong in the face of rumors an ICC warrant had been issued. The decision to return may have been because he hoped to portray himself as a victim, political analyst Richard Darian told AFP, a gambit that immediately backfired. Darian said the government outsmarted him by making sure that they had a mechanism in place to whisk him away directly to the Hague. I think that really caught them off guard because I think the Dutertes were hoping to employ legal delaying tactics, he said, like taking it to the courts to buy supporters time to mount large-scale rallies. But the speed of Duterte's transfer to the Hague, arrested and flown out on the same day, made any such plans moot. While Franco agreed some voters may have brought into a victim narrative, Yusinko was less convinced. Voters will not be swayed in or the Duterte's favor just because he was arrested, he said. No matter the outcome of May's election, the vacuum left by Duterte's exit may be impossible to replace from within the family ranks. My sense is that the charisma of the Dutertes is really largely because of the elder Duterte, said Franco. I don't think Sara or the sons, one a congressman, another the mayor of family stronghold Davao, actually inherited his friend, the charisma he has for the base. And expecting the increasingly proud 79-year-old patriarch to lead the family's fight back from assault in the Hague was unrealistic. I imagine it would be extremely difficult given his age, more than the fact that he's detained, Yusinko said. However, he added that you can never underestimate a politician like former President Duterte. He may still have allies out there that can still make noise and still mobilize, Yusinko said. Franco meanwhile said she believed it was his daughter's impeachment that might mark the beginning of the end for the Duterte brand. Of course, she added, in Philippine politics, you can always rebrand. Former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque was spotted on Friday in the Hague, Netherlands, where former President Rodrigo Duterte is detained. Roque was accompanied by Vice President Sara Duterte as shown in a live stream on his official Facebook page. Senator Robin Hood Padilla is also in the Hague with them. He said they are trying to get access to the former president at the detention facility. You can hear the first few seconds that they were indeed at the place. Roque is implicated in the qualified human trafficking case involving Cassandra Leong and others linked to alleged illegal activities at the Philippine offshore gaming operator or Pogo Hub, Lucky Start 99 Corp. He is facing an outstanding arrest order from the House of Representatives after being cited for contempt and ordered detained for failing to submit documents explaining the sudden increase in his wealth. And after skipping the administration-backed Serenal campaign rally in Tacloban City in protest of the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte, Senator Amy Marcos now needs to decide where she will stand in terms of political alliances, Iloilo 1st District Representative Janette Garin said on Friday. Karen, in an online press briefing, said she understood Marcos when the latter withdrew from the campaign sortie because she disagreed with the government's decision to allow Duterte's arrest. But Guerin said the senator, the sister of President Ferdinand Marcos, now needs to clarify her politics. Marcos is a member of Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas, the administration-backed center slate, but she continues to defend the Dutertes despite its family members attacking her brother. Guerin told reporters, Senator Amy Marcos and I are from the same province. I was born and raised in Yete. I'm also a Moray, so I understand what she feels, but I think the bigger problem that Senator Amy Marcos has is the need to balance her own views and her politics. I believe it's already time for the senator to really decide on the political steps that she wants to tread because people will respect and believe in you more if you take one stand so that you can focus your attention in the particular direction of your campaign. According to Garin, it appears Marcos is trying to win over the votes of the Duterte supporters while still getting support from Alianza. Garin explained, in politics, I believe that you need to take a stand, go with what you believe, and join the group that you believe in. In the case of Senator Amy Marcos, she has a lot of things to say about the progress of the current administration, but she joined the Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas, which is actually headed by the president, so what she says comes off as different from what she does. In politics, that's a deadly combination because you have to stand. If you are on the right side, you stay on the right side. If you are with the Reds, stay with the Reds, and if you are with the Whites, stay with the Reds. Sorry, stay with the Whites. So in this case, of course, since she needs votes, she cannot afford to lose the votes of the Duterte vote supporters. But if she continues to openly defend the former president, she will lose Alianza's support. She added. Earlier, Marcos apologized to people from Yete, her maternal hometown province, as she would not be able to attend the rally because she cannot accept what happened to Duterte. It is now 6:40 p.m. as we will return with more news headlines and all the way until 7 p.m. right here on koolNews at 6. Stay along with us. We will be right back. koolNews at 6. Let's get into the international headlines now as the Chinese hot pot giant Haidilao said it would compensate over 4,000 diners who had visited one of its outlets in Shanghai after two diners urinated into their hot pot broth. A video showing two men urinating into the broth of their hot pot while dining in a private room at the Haidilao restaurant started circulating online late last month. Hai Di Lao said on Wednesday the incident occurred on February 24, but in that it only became aware of the issue 4 days later and could not initially determine the time and location. It showed the case revealed a lack of training procedures, which led to staff's failure to detect the situation promptly. The company confirmed the location in downtown Shanghai on March 6. The company said in a statement, "We fully understand the distress caused to our customers by this incident cannot be fully compensated for by any means. We are willing to do our uttermost to take responsibility." The company did not say how much it would be spending in compensation. Haidilao reported the case to the police in Jianhan, Sichuan, where it is headquartered, and other locations. The police have since detained two men, both 17 years old, according to a statement issued by Shanghai police. Haidilao filed a severe lawsuit application against them on Monday, the company's statement added. The U.S. government was hours from shutting down Friday as Democrats, smarting over President Donald Trump's spending cuts, threatened to block his federal funding plans, although hopes were high for a resolution to the impasse. Facing a Friday night deadline to fund the government or allow it to start winding down, the Senate is set to vote ahead of the midnight cutoff on a drumback bill passed by the House of Representatives. The deal will keep federal operations going for another 6 months, but Democrats are under pressure from the grassroots activists to defy Trump and reject a text they say is full of harmful spending cuts. Top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer, who has long insisted that it is bad politics to shut down the government, said he would support the bill, a move seen as improving its chances of success. Schumer said on the Senate floor, "President Trump and Republican leaders would like nothing more than to pull us into the mud of protracted government shutdown. For Donald Trump, a shutdown would be a gift. It will be the best distraction he could ask for from his awful agenda. Right now, Donald Trump owns the chaos in the government." He was joined by Pennsylvania's John Fetterman, while other Democrats worried that they would be blamed over a stoppage with no obvious exit ramp also appeared ready to back down. But Hammer has not explicitly told his troops which way to jump, telling reporters each is making his or her own decision and adding to this suspense of a vote that could still go either way. There have been four shutdowns where operations were affected for more than one business day, with the last occurring during Trump's first term. During the disruption, up to 900,000 federal employees can be furloughed, while another million deemed essential workers, from air traffic controllers to police, work without pay. Social Security and other benefits are protected, but there are typically delays in variety of services while parks shut and food safety inspections are held in. The latest bestseller is focused on Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, unofficially spearheaded by tycoon Elon Musk, the world's richest man. Dodge aims to cut federal spending by $1 trillion this year and claims to have made savings so far of more than $100 billion, although verified cost savings amount to less than a tenth of that figure. Grassroots Democrats, infuriated by what they see as the SpaceX and Tesla CEOs' lawless rampage through the federal bureaucracy, want their leaders to fight hard to defy Dodge and Trump. The Senate has rules to encourage bipartisan working, meaning the funding bill is likely to need support from 8 members of the Democratic minority. This looked like a bridge too far earlier in the week for Democrats furious that the legislation contained no language to rein in Musk. But several top party figures have warned that a shutdown could play into Musk's hands, distracting from Dodge's most unpopular actions and making it easier for him to announce more layoffs. Republicans voiced confidence that the needed Democratic support would be available, with several opposition senators facing challenging re-election fights in the 2026 midterms and worry of being blamed for chaos in Congress. One of the most vulnerable, Georgia's John Ossoff, said, however, that he was a firm no, berating Republican authors of the bill for failing to impose any constraints on the reckless and out of control Trump administration. But John Tehun, the Republican leader of the Senate, put Democrats on notice that it was time for Democrats to fish or cut bait. Democrats need to decide if they're going to support this funding legislation or if they're going to shut down the government, he said. An American Airlines jet caught fire after landing at Denver International Airport in Colorado on Thursday, the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration said. There were 172 passengers and 6 crew members aboard, the airliner said, according to local media. Denver International Airport said in a post on social media platform X that all passengers were safely evacuated from the plane, but 12 people were taken to hospitals with minor injuries. Dramatic video images widely shared on social media showed billowing smoke around the jet on the ground near the terminals and passengers standing on a wing as emergency services arrived. The FAA said American Airlines Flight 1006, flying from Colorado to Dallas Fort Worth, diverted to Denver International Airport after the crew reported experiencing engine vibrations. After landing and while taxiing to the gate, an engine caught fire and passengers evacuated the aircraft using the slides, the FAA said in a statement. The latest incident comes amid concerns about safety after a series of incidents and attempts by President Donald Trump's administration to cut costs at U.S. aviation agencies. The FAA said it will investigate the latest incident. Now, getting into the business, China has ordered banks and other financial institutions to encourage more consumer financing and use of credit cards as part of a campaign to get people to spend more. The order Friday from the country's financial regulator is part of the ruling Communist Party's latest push to build more confidence among consumers who are opting to save rather than spend, worried over jobs and the outlook for the economy. It said banks should lend more and also find ways to help borrowers who run into difficulties. Share prices in China surged following the notice from the National Financial Regulatory Commission. Officials are due to hold a briefing on Monday on efforts to increase spending and investments. Sorry, not investments, but investment. Factors considered crucial for keeping the economy on track following the setbacks of the COVID-19 pandemic when millions of people lost jobs and many companies went out of business. The Chinese economy, the world's second largest, has been growing recently at about a 5% pace, according to official statistics. But worries over the jobs and the burden of healthcare and education have left many Chinese unwilling to spend much, hobbling a major driver of business activity. A prolonged turndown in the property market triggered by government efforts to rein in excessive borrowing by real estate developers has also weighed in on consumer sentiment, leaving many families feeling worse off than in the past. Last year, a surge in exports helped to make up for the persisting weakness in domestic demand, which is fueled by spending and investment. But U.S. President Donald Trump's orders to sharply raise tariffs on imports of Chinese goods may then exports in coming months, raising risk for many types of businesses. Apart from expanding use of consumer credit, the government is spending tens of billions of dollars on car and appliance trade-in programs meant to encourage use of more energy-efficient products, but also to stock up excess inventories due to weak demand. The level of consumer financing and other personal borrowing in China has tended to be much lower than in the US and many other countries, although it has surged in recent years. Nearly 9 in 10 Chinese families own their homes, while fewer than half of homeowners have mortgages. Use of cash and online apps and other forms of digital payments are more common than use of credit cards. And now let's get into the showbiz. After a recent false claim that she took a dig at former President Rodrigo Duterte, Kim Chiu reminded the public to be wary of fake news, stressing how it can cause harm even to celebrities. She was earlier accused of alluding to Duterte's arrest after her It's Showtime spill about deserving a break. An incident apparently misinterpreted Chiu's spell and claimed that the TV host said Duterte, who faces charges of crimes against UAD before the International Criminal Court in the Netherlands, deserved to be jailed. Dennison already apologized to the actor's TV host, who then underscored the importance of fact-checking and being a responsible citizen. Days after this, Chiu showed herself running and spoke about having a strong mind via her Instagram page on Thursday, March 13th. She said, "No storm lasts forever, and neither will your struggles. Rise, push through, and show the world the unshakable force within you." Just a reminder, fake news is also spreading. Just a reminder, fake news is spreading so fast, and a lot of people, including us in the entertainment industry, are getting hurt because of it, she continued. Similarly, because making a reference to the earlier false claims about her. Chu also advised citizens to always verify information before sharing or making a reaction. Let's choose truth over lies and kindness over hate, she added. Aside from Chu, her It's Showtime co-host V. Hong Navarro received similar accusations after his own deserved spill during the noontime show. Navarro in turn said that he just read the spell that was given to them. "Wala po akong masamang intensyon." And just before we wrap it up, we do have a special coverage where of former President Rodrigo Duterte's ICCP trial later during My Tulugan at 9 p.m. and also the pre-coverage with the Dreamy Show at 8 p.m. So we will be having, once again, we will be having a special coverage later at 9 p.m. During My Tulugan. And it will be simulcasted as well on TGN News, not just TGN Entertainment, but also on TGN News. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now 1 minute before. Actually, it's now 7, and now that brings us to the end of koolNews at 6. We will return with a special coverage of Duterte's former Duterte's ICC trial later at 9 p.m. with My Tulugan. And just a heads up, there will be no koolNews prime time later, as the trial will be preempting the prime time newscast with the coverage. Until then, I am Cairo. This has been koolNews at 6, and we will be back at 9 p.m. later for the special coverage on My Tulugan. Good evening.